Last year we circumnavigated the planet Microtech on Dragonflies. It was a very long expedition covering almost 7,000 kilometers, a real adventure with a lot of challenges along the way. We've been planning a follow-up to that expedition for some time, but this time on the planet Hurston. And about a month ago we saw some of the prep testing for the trip as we tested bike performance in the current patch, how difficult the terrain would be, and if the new repair mechanics might be useful to us as we covered the 7,500 kilometers route planned for the journey. In the last video we met our head navigator, Fingers.
This is the way. Yeah.
Very nice.
All props to Fingers.
Yeah, no, seriously.
But now we can meet some of the other team members as well, like Jack Nazareth, who will be riding along on a Dragonfly the whole way.
It was intense. You take your eyes off what you're doing for more than a second, you're dead if you're not careful. Some parts are easier than others. You can kind of look around and enjoy the place, like some of the real flats. But through those trees and forests and stuff, no.
Our eye in the sky cameraman, Trenick, getting all of our wide shots from the sky above.
It's pretty fun. I'm very surprised as the difference just between being up in the air and between you on the ground. The few times I've unloaded, I see it's probably chaos for you guys the entire time. So, yeah, very cool though.
And Phoenix Knight, our support pilot.
It's been really cool to watch the coordination that's gone into this. I wasn't sure how much I'd be able to contribute, but being able to just be another eye in the sky, being able to help scout, help Fingers do navigation waypoints, it's been really cool to watch.
We'd also be joined by Artax, who would be operating the respawn carrack and carrying out spare bikes for the journey. And for some sections of the trip we were joined by other riders or pilots as well, such as channel patron Quasgar, Sphinx 40 and of course Marcusio. The route chosen was separated into 10 stages, with most being considerably longer than the stages that we faced on Microtech. But unlike the Microtech trip, this time we decided to just get the whole thing done over the course of a week, rather than in disparate sessions over several weeks. This really gave a sense of continuity to the trip, and having a great team like this, it really was a team effort this time at every step of the way. We'd see a lot of Hurston along the way, biomes I'd never visited before, and challenges that we definitely did not encounter on Microtech, and destroy a hell of a lot of Dragonflies. But inch by inch we pushed forward, and this is the story of that journey. And after getting the final arrangements made, we awoke on a warm sunny morning at Lorville, and it was time to head to Gate 3 and get underway.
Walk me in the morning sun, tell me I'm a lucky one. I'm riding on the wave of a notion that I could be brave. Is there anything good on the radio? Turn it up loud and let me know how it used to be.
Okay, Artax, I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to leave it just in front of like the vehicle area.
Okay.
I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great. Running out of town just to celebrate. There's not a lot to ask when life is going by so fast.
With Artax on the way to pick up the spare bikes and Sphinx 40 joining us for the opening stage, we were almost all set for the first leg, a 135km short run to HDSF Adlai, going via Calthrope. This would be a short south route out of Lorville before looping to the east. The terrain was expected to be red desert and the dreaded Hurston trash piles. 3, 2, 1, we are off. We are doing it. Leaving Lorville was extremely similar to travelling the route during the test run, but we wouldn't even be out of the city limits when our first bike would explode. Those posts, right, those little skinny posts, the worst. Oh, I had an explosion.
Sphinx.
No! Hit one of those little narrow posts.
I think so.
There are a handful of obstacles found on Hurston that are far more challenging than anything we'd seen on Microtech. It's all about going slow at these parts and just checking to make sure. Dragonflies are also really glitchy. Sometimes they can just explode anyway. Sphinx, Stony Constellation, spare bikes are there. As we hit the edge of the city though, I'd forget if we were taking the south line all the way or starting our hook to the east. Luckily, Jack had studied a video by our navigator Fingers, who sadly was not present for this opening warm-up leg. Do you think it's over the quarry over there or down that way?
Basically, we hook a right here, and I'm literally following the video
Sure, okay,
underneath those pipes, and I see the big round drum thing ahead of you, slightly to your face, 11 o'clock.
Learning the biomes is a process. In time, you come to know exactly what scenery is safe to fly over and which is not.
And I'm not sure which one of these types of plants or trees or whatever they are is you can fly through or you'll crash on, but I'm just avoiding everything I see right now.
Yeah, that's the safest way to go.
It's like, I don't trust anything. I am now kind of approaching this little perimeter jump pile right near the edge of the...
Good work, Jack. The trash at the edge of the city here was only narrow. We knew this from our test run. We'd encounter much worse in later legs of this journey, but it was a good indication of what this biome holds in store.
What is slightly fun is that you can, I like it when you have to lower your Dragonfly to go through a low gate and raise it again to go over obstacles.
When you go over something, like you can use these bits as like ramps and stuff, you know? It's awkward because it can clip the bike a little bit at the edge, but it's still fun.
Yep.
Clearing the trash would offer a sense of security, but we'd quickly see that dangers are everywhere.
Waypoint 2.
Oh, ooh, that was close. Watch out for that dip there, Jack. There's two of those holes. You can see them until you're over the edge. We're at the edge of the trash now.
Yeah, Katie shows us how the monsters work.
We were out into the open red desert, where our loop to the east would finally begin. On my test run, I'd simply continued south, so this would be new ground for me. This should be the bit, I think this is the bit where we curve round, right? This is like Fingers, like his detour, as it were. Okay.
Yep, yes it is. Okay. It's relatively easy once you get up here on top of the ridge.
I'd climb out of the quarry below, avoiding a bunch of steep holes on my way up, and we get that last view of Lorville. Look at that view. But climbing up to Jack would give an even better vantage point.
Here's boss.
The view is much better from up here. I'm glad you made me climb up. Despite looking pretty smooth on the way out, our bikes had suffered some damage, and the repair function of the multi-tool was working great on the nacelles of the bike, but the core component just would not repair today.
Vesta.
That's so weird.
Different snacks.
We'd push out further, climbing the side of the hill to try to avoid what we call the construction site biome, mainly to avoid these ski poles.
Jack is under 6.
The top of the hill though did not look more attractive. Oh, look what's coming up right here. This is not good. Luckily our route was to the east and so ran along the edge of this trash. We're going to be going this way anyway, so we can probably skirt along the edge of the trash. The route would bring us back down into the quarry outside of Lorville, and I'd be reminded of another danger with the current bike performance, bottoming out after a jump or a drop. Ooh. Although this spot, maybe you could land a car down here. With the damage to the core section of the bike already a concern, I decided to grab a spare from the Carrack. Artax was able to land here, and it was not long at all before I was on my way again. Thank you very much, Artax. This is literally like a ski slope with those goddamn holes everywhere. Lateral thrust is greatly hampered when traversing sideways along a gradient, leading to what was admittedly a very avoidable crash. Shit.
Ooh, I just heard an explosion.
The bike had exploded, and it is good to get the first one out of the way early, just to take the curse off of it. It had at the very least clearly hit something, as we'd find out many times during this expedition. Sometimes they just explode anyway. This was just to be a reality of the trip. We would go through a lot of bikes.
I can see the Dragonfly.
As the sun was setting and we were prepping for night riding, we'd also encounter some oddly selective invisible player issues. No one on it either.
So, Star Citizen. Okay, we're a bunch of night riders now.
Yes. Remember, ping is your friend.
Ping is your friend. Lights are gone.
For now at least, it was lovely open red desert along the proposed route.
It's 7, John.
We want to be going east, right? Just direct east now.
Basically, yeah, east direction 80 is kind of what his
Okay.
video says, but basically east. Yep.
I felt like I had to keep the speeds down in this environment, but this was still very early into the trip, and for Jack, this still felt very fast.
Yeah, you are hauling, Katie.
Am I really? I feel like I'm going slow. I'm being super careful.
Yeah, I just looked up and you were like a kilometer ahead, and then I looked up again and you're like 2 kilometers ahead. I'm like, oh shoot, I am falling behind.
But what do you want? What's your biggest need? Every hour we spend together, then suddenly the chances are small, just like the lottery.
Trash is coming out. We got a lot of trash coming out. On the horizon, this had looked like the beginning of a trash field, but really it was just a very thin line of trash, hiding yet more red desert. The wall of trash turned out to be very thin. Like, it looked like a wall of trash, but it was like one panel thick. So it's still open at the moment. But while I had not run this route in my test run, Jack had, and he had some bad news for me about what was still to come.
Katie, have you made it to the cave yet on a test run?
I did like 150 kilometers, but in a different direction. I was just trying to get a feel for the terrain, so I wasn't like running the actual route.
Gotcha. It is surrounded by another sea of junk, so when you start hitting the junk piles, you know you're getting kind of close.
The speed was naturally lower here because of how Gravlev behaviour has changed since last year.
I'm also afraid to gun it because I actually don't want to launch myself very.
No. We didn't have to worry about that on Microtech. On the mountains, you could just jump
man.
from mountain to mountain.
Literally, you could fly mountains. God, I loved it.
You're still about 50k.
As Jack had forewarned, with 50 kilometers to Calthrop, we were hitting heavy trash.
So you got a big jump out.
Now we're at trash. Initially, this trash was not too constricting, it was slower sure, but there were nice clean lines to be found. Sometimes crossing a challenging patch like this is actually the most fun, so long as it ends quickly, which as we were promised, this area most likely would not. Nothing to do now though than push on through.
The chances are small, just like the lottery. I just hope we could stay together. We wait and see, but the chances are small, just like the lottery.
As we pushed further into it, there were definitely more challenges emerging, and having our pilots scout for open ground wouldn't be a bad idea. Can someone in the air maybe look and see if there's any clear ways around this trash?
I'm trying to look right now.
It looks really cool from my angle. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay, like once you get, if you can see my marker, once you're here, it opens up again. Like
Okay.
there's still trash on the sides, but
I'm heading for you then. At night especially, scouting terrain from the air is very difficult, but Artax believed he had found a route where the trash was at the very least thinner.
there's a path straight down the middle that kind of bobbles me just a little bit. And it's hard for me to tell what's rendering it for me and what's not.
Yeah.
Compared to you.
I guess I should say it's a pain in the nacelles.
Hey.
But yes, folks, I'll be here all week.
And on the way, the challenge would rise and the pace would slow. Some of this trash is very tight.
Yeah.
You can like thread the bike through in some spots, but only barely. Getting a little dinged up is inevitable, with more than a few minor impacts occurring. But Artax was right, and for a short while here, trash was definitely thinner.
God, this is so much easier with the guy in the sky. It's like,
Right, you've got your support pilot out in front of you. You don't even need to look at the compass, you can just fly towards the marker. Although, this bike is going real bad. Yeah, there's some damage to it back there.
Yeah, it's the endless garbage right now.
But as we closed on Calthrow, things would become a maze of dead ends and circling back.
headlight. I know exactly where you're at. Oh, there you are. I see your light.
The moment, basically, where we're at right now is very thick. Doing a long Dragonfly trip like this sounds simple or sounds boring, right? But it's like constant concentration, right? Because if you don't, you hit things, get caught in something. Much more exciting than it sounds.
And as long as I don't think of how large Hurston actually is, I'm having a grand time right now.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Calthrope is a cave deep within the trash, and as we got close, the terrain would change from mostly flat to jagged and sharp ridges.
Left. Yeah, you're good. And then right.
Thank you.
You gotta be so careful coming up over ridges, right? Because you could be falling into like a massive trash pile. If you land on something, you've got a high chance of exploding.
Yeah, you're dead.
And by sheer coincidence, I'd find an abandoned mining rock out here in the trash. Grey Cat Rock.
Now it's
There's just a rock out
dig in
here.
a little bit. Chilling.
It's weird.
I have encountered rock mineable outcroppings in this junk pile before. I've seen them.
But before long, I was crossing the final ridge with our tax now landed safely at the Calthrope Cave. And it was now that Fingers arrived, and I would explain our little detour. We decided to go to Calthrope.
Through the mountain of death. Yeah.
I'm just at the end of it now. But oh my god, the trash is so thick.
Yeah, the route in the map is designed to avoid anything that resembles a mound.
Katie, I almost landed on top of the rock you found earlier. Literally, I skipped over the top of it.
Why are there so many minables here? Jesus Christ.
Cave.
Now we can check the bikes and consume some hydration. We've done leg 1, we've done the warm-up leg.
But look at this. Everything is 100% except Grav Lev 3 is 0. Everything else is 100s.
Middle component is red.
Let me come towards your marker, see if I can see you.
I'm pretty much 100% on every all components, but I've got a red central component. I couldn't repair the central component of my bike, but Jack could repair the nacelles of his own bike.
Alright, so Jack, I put an attachment and some nutrition in your storage.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Of course.
Okay.
Now we detoured to Calthrope because the navigation seemed easier in the absence of Fingers, but now that he was back we could push on to Adlai, the intended destination for stage 1.
If we get to Adlai, which is like a 41-kilometer hike, you're in it. You're in good stead.
Adlai was only 41 kilometers away, but most of that distance was still dense trash piles, and while close to Calthrope, sharp ridges as well.
These ridges are vertical and steep.
It is still sometimes fun to find novel routes through the giant metal trash panels though.
Jut south, that little corner there, which is an open plain.
Using ping, I could see much flatter ground up ahead. Wait, it looks like there might be open terrain coming up ahead. But between us and it though, a long descent down this mountainside covered in jagged obstacles, and worse, the trash was getting thicker as we descended.
Best direct route to your marker.
It's going to be a lot more dead ends, it looks like. Ooh.
Right. The bearing to get to me is 233.
Yeah. I can see your marker.
Okay.
Going through this trash on the ground is, it's just dead end after dead end.
I will go left. I'm above you right now, Katie, so if you want to go left instead. Or, yeah, that works.
Oh,
Wow.
oh. I mean, it got me out of that dead end, but
You probably.
put me in another one.
Yeah.
With Trennick overhead though, I'd have an eye in the sky to help guide me to clearer paths.
you got range on my marker, it's so much easier right at this point. So another 13 clicks and you're in some relaxing terrain.
Red desert.
I'm just thinking about how long it took us to cover 13 clicks getting to that checkpoint.
I picked up so many dings through the sea of debris. It's might be time for a swap.
Won't you be my guide and let me follow? Can I hold your hand for old time's sake?
Eventually though, things would clear up ahead.
You're out of the wreckage pretty much after this bit.
Oh, thank God for that. Because this...
Red plains, yes.
Red plains!
Now all is in our hands. All is in our hands.
Just one.
This is the official end of Leg 1, because this is the original
Yes.
plan.
I'm right over it. Found it for you.
Soft
I
pepper.
see the blinking line actually. Doesn't matter where it's.
As we closed in, Trenick could see the outpost ahead. We couldn't get too close because of the turrets, but pulling up here would officially mark the end of stage 1 of the journey.
Do we want to sit down on the other side of this and then swap Dragonflies?
Yes, I'm close enough to it, like I'm like a kilometre away from it. But I'm behind cover, so
Okay.
it should be okay. So we'd made it through one of the shortest but still quite challenging legs of this expedition. The next stage is the dog leg, an 859km run around one of Hurston's lakes and deep down south to another unmarked bunker location, HDSF Hendrix. Along the way, we'd encounter a new set of challenges as we moved into some novel new biomes, and navigating routes between unmarked locations always has the risk of going very wrong. How will we fare as we begin the push south? Join us next time to find out. I mentioned at the start of the video that in celebration of Foundation Festival, you can win a Star Citizen game package complete with Origin 100i and lifetime insurance. For your chance to win, just leave a like and a comment on this video and we'll pick a winner from subscribers by the next episode. Good luck everyone, and of course a huge thank you to CIG for sending these awesome prizes our way. As always, I want to thank all of you at home for watching and all of our amazing patrons who you can see on screen right now. Without these very generous people, we wouldn't be able to put out videos like this because frankly this trip took a very long time to complete, and patron support is what allows me to commit the time to projects like this. And in this video, I'm especially thanking Francis Victor, who recently became a backer over on Patreon. Thank you very much, Francis, for your support. That is a huge help to keeping the channel going. We'll be back with the next leg of this journey very soon.